Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the third and final match here with Dark Bant. We won the die roll. Yeah, we want to play first. Let's take a look at our opener here. It's not bad. I'll keep it though. Issue is here we would want to get like Watery Grave, but Windswept Heath does not do that. So I think I'll lead with Forest and pass, because I don't want to make a fetch decision before I know what my other fetch lands are. Seagate Wreckage. This is Aether Vial. So this is going to be some sort of Death and Taxes deck. Another Liliana the Veil. So here, I think I'll just go for Windswept Heath. 4 colors, not free at all. We have the planes in hand, so I guess we're gonna be so far off from Liliana though, and if it's Death and Taxes, Geist might not even be that great. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Geist is not good in this matchup. Snap. The thing is, like, now we have 4 uncastable cards. Like, what am I doing? Just draw lands. Hopefully we're not up against a Leonin Arbiter. Man, I gotta say, there's so much Death and Taxes online. I feel like way more than there is on paper. Like, way more. Alright, a Ganjo Castle. Another Aether Vial, sure. Triple Aether Vial, alright. This matchup could get pretty scary if we don't start putting pressure on our opponent. Okay. Let's get a Sorcery in the graveyard. This makes Tarmogoyf a 2/3. I would say Lingering Souls is a bit better of a turn 3 play than Geist, although against this start from our opponent, maybe I'm wrong. So we kind of have to hope that they don't have any gas left in hand. The chances of that, though, pretty slim. Pretty slim, I would say. So our opponent's going to get to have an Aether Vial on 2, 3, and 4, or 2 on 2 and 1 on 3. Ghost Quarter is pretty good here. Oh boy. All right. Okay, opponent. I guess we don't get to play with lands this game. That's it's totally fair. Oh, Strip Mine. Forest. Alright. I don't think there's any way we can really get ambushed here. Could be wrong. Cool. Alright. Drew another basic. All part of the plan. I think once we're in this stage of the game, unless our opponent is sitting on all lands, we're very unfavored. We do want to find a black source. Two, 3. Mirror Crusader. That's like Splash Hate from Death Shadow, basically. That is really good. Really very good. The fact that they cast it makes me think that they have more threats in hand to unload. Alright. That is not bad. Again, we really only want to attack with these 2 spirits here. Because Tarmogoyf gets blocked by the Mirror Crusader. This gets us a Water Grave at the very least. I'm thinking hard here. Alright, so we will get blown out by double Arbiter. Okay. Imagine this is a Flicker Wisp killing one of the spirits. It could be baiting us here. Alright, no bait. And we're not losing a spirit token, so that's pretty good. Tarmogoyf falls down to a 1-2, which I did not consider with that play, which means they might get in with the Arbiter as well. Although if they get in with Arbiter, I might just double block. However, that double block gets pretty blown out by another Flicker Wisp. Putting 2 vials on 3 makes me feel like they have to at least have one 3 card. I might just take the hit from Arbiter and just double block a Flicker Wisp if they attack. If they don't attack with Flicker Wisp. Alright, they're just attacking with the Crusader. Can't really do anything about that without drawing a Path to Exile here. He did not come prepared to face against Mirran Crusaders. Maelstrom Pulse would be pretty good here, right? Hit all 3 Aether Vials. Okay, that is not a Maelstrom Pulse. We have a couple options here. We can attack with 3 spirits, put our opponent on a 4-turn clock. Kind of like that. Keep 1 back to block the Flicker Wisp. Okay. And we could leave Snapcaster Mage as like a flash blocker. Alternatively, we could shock, play Geist, and keep up Snapcaster Mage as a flash blocker. Do need 1 blue mana there, though. And now we're at least putting on some impression that we can put pressure on our opponent back. This does die to another Flicker Wisp, right? Yeah, this line. Oh no, this line is this line is dead to another Flicker Wisp. But if they have another Flicker Wisp, we were probably losing this game anyways. Probably. Path to Exile. That's not dead. Oh shoot. Yeah, I was supposed to activate Arbiter in response there. Oh, did they just literally have Flicker Wisp? Blade Splicer. That is not literally Flicker Wisp. Okay, if our opponent makes some weird attacks here, we might be able to just get him. Okay. Let's move to combat, opponent. What do you got for me? So yeah, attack here, attack here, attack here. Leave back these 2. Makes a lot of sense. We do have 7 damage in the air, and then they have to block. The issue is here is that we have to block. Oh wow. That's aggressive. I guess they're trying to force blocks, which makes sense. Okay, attack with everything. Before we make any sudden movements. This is putting themselves dead on board. So either they drew nothing. So we would block Tarmogoyf on Arbiter, Geist on Splicer, Snap on Golem. Oh no, Snap on Crusader. And we're still dead. So that forces us chump somewhere. Okay. Okay, so we would go Goyf on Golem, Geist on Splicer, Snap on Crusader. Okay. And then we're not dead. I don't know if we can win, but we're not dead. That was a good attack from our opponent, attacking with that extra Splicer. Although this is still lethal, right? 7... Yeah, this is 9 damage. Was that a good attack from our opponent? Or was it a Hail Mary? Well, we're... Oh, no. Whew. I almost just attacked... I went through my attack step there. Alright, if our opponent drew like a Flicker Wisp here, like... Alright, you got me, opponent. Oh my gosh. Whew! What a game. What a game. How the hell do we beat Mirren Crusader? Not sure we do, outside of Liliana the Veil. If we want to do that, then we need to somehow control the opponent's board. I don't like Search for Escanta here. I think we can cut some number of Inquisitions and cut a Geist. Bring in a whole bunch of removal. I like keeping one Scavenger Goose because it kind of can just get big in the late game. It's definitely not great though. And I think we just want to grind them out, have better top decks, you know. There's an argument for Stony Silence there, but like as you saw, Aether Vial was basically 3 less cards for them that game. They did a lot of their stuff at sorcery speed anyways. So ultimately, I think that game was close. That was close. A lot of different decisions could have been made there throughout that game. I'm not sure if I made the right ones, but you know, opponent on that 61 card special over there. Let's see if that gets him there. I do imagine our opponent wants to play first. A Death and Taxes deck. Most decks in Modern want to play first. I don't think there's many situations where you don't. Ooh, if this was like a green source, maybe. Alright, this hand is great. I'll keep a removal spell on top. Interesting. So here we have a choice. We can fetch up a basic in case we get like Arbitered. Or use our fetch land in case there's an Arbiter. Kind of like that. I like getting a breeding pool here. We are taking a lot of damage from our mana base here, but I don't think it'll ultimately matter all that much in this matchup. Path to Exile is great as an answer to like an early Mirren Crusader. Alright. See if our opponent goes for that Arbiter. No Arbiter. Thalia maybe? Nothing. Just a bunch of 3-drops. Okay. Here I like getting a swamp here. And I'm just not going to expose my white source until I need it. That's sure, that keeps us off, like, turn 2 Geist. Liliana the Veil is a great draw here, I think. Doing a good impression of a Sultai deck. I guess maybe we wanted plain so we could go like Geist plus Path to Exile, but I like having that extra swamp in case we get like Arbiter Ghost Quarter next turn. That way we can still cast our double black spells. And ultimately they may want to cut us off like a single color instead of a double color, which means they would hit the breeding pool. Next turn could be pretty good for us. We could go like Lily, sack, exile that creature, swing for 3. Obviously, we can't do that if they go like Arbiter here. But again, we have another land in hand, so I'm not too upset. If it's like a Blade Splicer, all right, Mirran Crusader is best case scenario. This is exactly what we want Liliana for. Second Geist, not great. Go Lily. Make my opponent sack. We'll eat it. Gain some life. Start applying pressure. So this is where like getting that extra swamp I think helped. That way we not necessarily actually like plains might have been better. Plains may have definitely been better. Flicker Wisp, sure. All right, reset my scoos. Fair enough. Lingering Souls is awesome, actually. You can go ahead and +1. I like just discarding Geist here. Our mana is going to be so like locked up. Alternatively, we could discard Souls and keep up Souls plus Path. But like I feel like this, like we can always discard Geist later. Like I feel like this is like the best plan. We'll see what our opponent wants to discard here. They probably have a pretty good hand. Hopefully they discard a creature here, because that way we can flashback Souls, Path to Exile Flicker Wisp, eat a creature, swing for 3. That would be most ideal. But again, we'll start here. Fantastic, Flicker Wisp. Let's just get aggressive here. Really don't want the game to go on that much longer. Okay. Pretty good position here. We're way ahead on board. Our opponent is ahead on cards, but we do have Liliana to try to soak up some of that. Yeah, Grafdigger's Cage is A-okay with me, opponent. Another Flicker Wisp could again reset our Scavenging Ooze or just hit a Spirit. That works as well. So I could cash in Liliana here. I'm not sure I want to do that quite yet. I think I want my opponent to maybe discard a creature here. Oh, alternatively, I could just discard my creature. I could just discard Geist. Or they could just discard their creature. That works too. Again, let's just attack with Scavenging Ooze here. All right. Scavenging Ooze just getting there this game. And here we are hell bent. Your move, opponent. What you got for me? We got a Spirit to block the Flicker Wisp. We have Liliana Edict. We have Geist deal 4 damage in the air. We have a 5/5 in play. Our opponent, I think, just had a bit too slow of a start here. I think ultimately a slow start is what's going to get them here. End step. Horizon Canopy. Okay. Sure. Hit Lily. Okay. Okay, that's a play. Alright, so if we attack with everything, they block Resto. Okay, so if they block the 2 biggest... No, yeah, I think we have lethal here. We don't have lethal, but we give them very bad blocks. Right? Because they have to block both of the big things, because both of the big things plus one of the little things adds up to at least 5. So they have to go, like... Yeah, they're dead here. I mean, they're not dead, but all their decisions are ultimately meaningless. In the grand scheme of things, unless they have, like, something nuts off the top. Get our Liliana back. It was a cool play from my opponent at the end there, but ultimately it's not going to matter because our board is just far too ahead of theirs. I'll go ahead and eat Restoration Angel to gain some life here. And then I'll say, okay. Here we'll fetch up, I guess, we have triple planes. We have, let's get another swamp. I mean, I think my opponent's dead on board here, right? Yeah, okay. Our opponent makes us play it out a bit, but let's see what we'd have drawn. Tarmogoyf, pretty good. So the reason I didn't exile the other Flicker Wisp is because Tarmogoyf. I didn't want to remove all creatures from the graveyard. That way Tarmogoyf was a little bit bigger. But yeah, that was the last match here with Dark Bant against Mono White Death and Taxes. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the closing statements. See you all very, very soon. All right, everybody, welcome back to the closing statements. Let's talk about the deck. So overall, we do like a really good impression of just like straight up obs on midrange. So to say that this is like only to say this is like Dark Bant is kind of misleading, I will admit. It kind of feels more like Dark Bant when you have this, but I think in future iterations, the splash is mostly going to be for Maelstrom or for Geist of Saint Traft and Snapcaster Mage. Ultimately, I don't think Search for Azcanta is what this deck wants to do. Whenever we saw it, I didn't really want it. And again, I want to keep the blue to a minimum and also to really powerful cards. Like Snapcaster Mage is a 3-drop, Geist is a 3-drop. Search for Azcanta is sometimes a 2-drop, and ultimately we don't always want to make those fetch decisions really early. That could be either my mana base is bad, but I also think it's because sometimes you have to keep a 2-lander and you don't know what you want to fetch early. So having this 2-drop early, I think that's going to get cut. Ultimately from the final, also from the sideboard. What I do want in the future is to have like a Scarab God at the top end here. I think with 23 lands and a tap-out style deck, we sometimes just play a bunch of lands, have Liliana ticking up, and having like a mana sink. Like it could be win more, but I do think a deck that's trying to play a mid-range game like ours would benefit from Scarab God. So maybe one in the sideboard in the place of this Search for Azcanta. And then when we cut the Search for Azcanta from main, we can bring one Brutality into the main, or we could bring the second Scavenging Ooze into the main. And I think then we do like a really good impression of like obs on mid-range, except we have that beatdown plan with Geist and potentially like sideboard tools to help us win certain matchups. Because fighting off the top of your opponent's deck is difficult. So you want a combination of the two, right? You want to disrupt early, you want to play a threat mid game, and then you want to keep up counter magic late. Because if you just disrupt against Storm and your clock's not fast enough, that's not going to be good enough in today's format. So I think that combination of adding blue mana definitely adds not only an aggressive angle with Geist of St. Traft, and like a value angle with Snapcaster Mage, but also this counterspell angle that you don't normally see in a mid-range oriented deck. It makes your top decks much more powerful. It answers cards that your opponent could answer. You draw Inquisition late game, that's pretty bad. So we still play 4 Inquisition in the main because Inquisition is just powerful. And also we're not playing Thoughtseize because we're a 4-color deck where we hurt ourselves a lot with our mana base. Thoughtseize would be a little too much for us. And we also saw double black was sometimes an issue. So working around that could be something to do. However, Liliana of the Veil impressed me in almost every time that we did cast it. So it could just be, again, some sort of mana rework here to add more black sources. Maybe another Watery Grave. But I do think white is important. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say exactly how we should configure the mana base. Again, we're ultimately green-black deck. And then we're a little bit dipping into white, and then we're completely splashing blue. Overall, I was really impressed with how the deck performed. We were able to beat humans, and although they did flood, we did push our advantage of just a ton of removal and overloading it, and then just beating down with big beefy threats. I mean, I think that's how you should beat humans in the meta today. Kill their evasive threats or their first strikers, and then lock up the board with big butts like Tarmogoyf. Not a lot of respect for Tarmogoyf these days. So I think Tarmogoyf is fantastic. So ultimately, moving forward, probably going to cut this Search for Azcanta, maybe move Scavenging Ooze or Collective Brutality to the main, and then that frees up a sideboard slot, 2 sideboard slots, right? Because we cut Search for Azcanta, so maybe a Scarab God for the full-on mid-range matchups, and maybe a Surgical in here, or maybe a Nature's Claim or something like that to interact with some weird permanents, or maybe just another counterspell like Negate or something like that, or Disdainful Stroke, because big mana, maybe some Tron Hate, maybe a Ceremonious Rejection is what this deck needs. Not quite sure. I will play around with it more, but I hope you enjoyed this series. Dark Bant, I really had a blast building this deck. I think it definitely has legs in today's meta. Obviously, you're going to have some poor matchups. I would say Tron and Burn are your most difficult matchups, but you can deal with creature aggro pretty well. You can deal with tribal decks like Merfolk, humans. I'd say you're pretty favored in the mid-range matchups just because of Lingering Souls, Death Shadow, you're favored. And even Etron is not horrible, but Etron is still probably unfavored. And then you're probably well off against Control with a deck like this. With Hierarch into Geist, I mean, that seems like a nightmare for Control. Obviously, that's Christmas scenario, but we do have Lingering Souls, we have Rhinos, Gideons, Lilianas, and then we obviously have sideboard tools. So ultimately, I think this deck is pretty good. I think it adds an angle to mid-range that we haven't quite seen in Modern in a long time. So hope you guys enjoyed this series, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Yeah, and let me know what you think in the comments about this deck, and I'll see you all hopefully very, very soon. Bye-bye.